Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I posted anything, but I'm back with a new video. So today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than what I usually do. Today I'm going to be ranking the books that I've read that were written by Freida Mcfadden. As of right now, I read 9 of her books. I'm reading 2 more of her books, but they're not going to be a part of this ranking. But I will still talk about what I like and don't like about them and all this stuff when I finish those books. Those books I'm reading right now are The Inmate and Ward D. But what I'm going to be doing for this video is I'm doing worst to best for the books, and I'll be reading the back of the book, and I'll be reading a document I did on all the books, on the characters and the plot twists for each book, and talking a little bit about what I liked about the book and what I didn't like about the book and why it's in the spot that it is. So, we're going to get started. So, the first book, which is the one that I liked the least, and I should say I didn't really like it that much, is The Tenant. So, this is what the cover looks like. And I'm going to read the back of the book. There's no place like home. Blake Porter is riding high until he's not. Fired abruptly from his job as a VP of marketing, unable to make the mortgage payments on the new brownstone he shares with his fiancée, he's desperate to make ends meet. Enter Whitney, beautiful, charming, down to earth, and looking for a room to rent. She's exactly what Blake's looking for. Or is she? Because something isn't quite right. The neighbors start treating Blake differently. The smell of decay permeates his home, no matter how hard he scrubs. Strange noises jar him awake in the middle of the night, and soon Blake fears someone knows his darkest secrets. Danger lives right at home. By the time Blake realizes it, it'll be far too late. The trap is already set. New York Times bestselling author Freida Mcfadden knocks at your door with a gripping story of revenge, privilege, and secrets turned sour. And I forgot to mention this. This video will contain spoilers for her books. So this is a spoiler warning. So if you either haven't read all of her books and are trying to read all of them, don't want spoilers, or you just don't want to hear spoilers, you should probably exit now, because now there's going to be some spoilers. So, this book is basically about this man who gets fired from his job, and he's trying to make ends meet with the money, so him and his fiancée hire a tenant, and stuff just goes downhill from there. So, the reason why this is 9th place, the last one, is because I like the main character, and I don't like what happens to him and who does it to him, and it just makes me upset. And this book didn't really click with me. First I was able to figure out, obviously her books have a way more twist than you can probably figure out, but I figured out the main twist, and that kind of upset me, because I hate when I'm right about stuff that, what I got right, I'll tell you when I read the plot twist, but what I got right in this book upset me, because I didn't like that I was right, because I didn't want it to be true, but I had to believe it. So yeah, so I'm going to now read characters and plot twists. So first I'm going to start with the characters. This first character is Blake Porter, the main protagonist, an ambitious marketing ambitious marketing executive whose life unravels after losing his job and taking in a tenant. He becomes increasingly paranoid and a suspect in crimes he didn't commit. Krista Marshall, Blake's fiancée, who is later revealed to be the true antagonist and the orchestrator of Blake's downfall. Using a false identity, she possesses a manipulative and vengeful personality. Whitney Cross, the tenant Blake and Krista rent their brownstone room to. She appears normal at first, but her presence creates tension between Blake and Krista. Amanda is revealed to be using a stolen identity and has her own secrets and motivations for being in the house. Mr. Zimmerly, Blake's grumpy and observant neighbor, who eventually becomes a victim in the elaborate plan against Blake. Stacy Parker, Blake's former colleague with whom he had an affair, triggering Krista's revenge plot. Wayne Vincent, Blake's former boss who fires him, initiating his financial struggles and the chain of events that follow. Elijah Myers, Krista's friend and admirer, who assists her in her manipulative schemes. He also becomes one of Krista's victims. Plot twist. Krista is the real Whitney Cross. The biggest twist is the reveal that Blake's fiancée, Krista Marshall, is actually Whitney Cross, the woman with a dark past and murderous tendencies that Blake has been researching. She's the one who engineered his firing and set up the whole situation to exact revenge for Blake cheating on her. Whitney is Amanda. The tenant that Blake and Krista take in, who Blake believes is actually Amanda, is the real Whitney Cross, is actually Amanda Linhart, a former PhD student fleeing her own abusive past and using a stolen identity. Krista's revenge plot. Krista's motives become horribly clear as the story unfolds. She meticulously orchestrated the events to ruin Blake's life as revenge for his infidelity, including killing Mr. Simile and framing Blake for it, killing his former colleague Stacy Parker, and attempting to kill both Blake and Amanda and stage it as a murder-suicide. Amanda's hidden motives. Even Amanda, initially presented as a victim, has a twist in her story. The epilogue reveals that she was coerced by Frank Gallo, the uncle of Krista's high school boyfriend whom Krista had reportedly killed, into killing Krista to settle her gambling debts. So that is everything for The Tenant. The next book, which is 8th place, is The Coworker. Now, initially before I read The Tenant, this was my least favorite because I did not like the main character and how mean she was, and even before we found out what she did to the other character, which you'll find out soon, I didn't like her because she was annoying. She seemed overly self-confident, and she just had bad vibes, and I did not like the ending. The ending was like all the characters that wronged each other became friends at the end, and that just did not sit well with me. But anyway, I will read the back now. 2 women, an office filled with secrets, one terrible crime that can't be taken back. Dawn's chief is strange, at least everyone thinks so at Fixed, the notorious supplement company where Dawn works as an accountant. She never says the right thing, she has no friends, and she is always at her desk, as for precisely 8:45 a.m. So when Dawn didn't show up to the office one morning, her coworker Natalie Farrell, beautiful, popular, top sales rep, 5 years running, is surprised. Then she receives an unsettling anonymous phone call that changes everything. It turns out Dawn wasn't just an awkward outsider, she was being targeted by someone close. And now Natalie is inversely tied to Dawn as she finds herself caught in a twisted game of cat and mouse that leaves her wondering who's the real victim. But one thing is incredibly clear: somebody hated Dawn's shift enough to kill. The Coworker is a tense, unforgettable thriller from New York Times best-selling author Freida Mcfadden that explores the dark ways the past can echo to the present with deadly consequences. So the characters: Natalie Farrell, a charismatic and ambitious salesperson at Vicks. Natalie is initially portrayed as a victim of circumstance. However, as the narrative unfolds, her darker side is revealed. She is manipulative and self-serving, resorting to lies and deception to protect her reputation and career. Her involvement in the bullying of Mia, which ultimately led to Mia's tragic suicide, showcases her capacity for cruelty. Driven by a desire for success and disregard for others, Natalie embodies the toxic nature of ambition and lengths to which individuals may go to achieve their goals. John Schiff. Dawn, an accountant at Vicks, is initially presented as an eccentric and socially awkward individual. However, her meticulous nature and unwavering sense of justice drive her to seek revenge for the bullying of her best friend, Mia. Dawn's meticulous planning and ability to manipulate events demonstrate her intelligence and resourcefulness. While her actions are motivated by a desire for justice, her willingness to resort to extreme measures blurs the line between victim and perpetrator, highlighting the complexities of revenge and the potential consequences of unresolved trauma. Caleb McCullen. Caleb, Natalie's boyfriend and Dawn's lover, plays a crucial role in orchestrating the events of the novel. His love for Dawn and his desire to avenge his half-sister Mia drive him to participate in the elaborate scheme to frame Natalie. Caleb's actions reveal his loyalty and devotion to those he cares about, but also his capacity for deceit and manipulation. His willingness to protect Dawn at all costs raises questions about the boundaries of love and the strengths to which individuals may go to seek justice for their loved ones. Seth Hoffman. Seth, Natalie's boss and former lover, is a complex character caught between his desire for Natalie and his commitment to his family. His initial support for Natalie, despite the mounting evidence against her, reveals his vulnerability to her manipulation. However, his eventual realization of her true nature and his role in uncovering Kayla's connection to Dawn demonstrate his capacity for growth and change. Seth's character highlights the complexities of relationships and the potential for individuals to be both deceived and redeemed. Mia Hodge, aka Amelia Hodge. Though deceased, Mia's presence looms large over the narrative. Her tragic suicide as a result of bullying serves as a catalyst for Dawn and Kayla's revenge plot. Mia's character represents the devastating consequences of bullying and the lasting impact it can have on both the victim and their loved ones. Her absence underscores the importance of kindness, empathy, and standing up against injustice. Plot twist. Dawn is not dead, and Natalie is framed. Natalie, a top salesperson, becomes prime suspect in Dawn's apparent disappearance and death. Evidence, emails, co-worker testimonies, and her body seems to implicate her. In reality, Dawn is alive and faked her own death in cahoots with Caleb, Natalie's boyfriend, to frame Natalie for murder. The body is not Dawn's. A high school tragedy fuels revenge. Dawn and Caleb were motivated by a shared past. Dawn was friends with Amelia, who committed suicide after being bullied by Natalie and her friend Tara in high school. Caleb is Mia's half-brother and joined Natalie to help frame her for revenge. The body isn't Dawn's, and deeper deception unfolds. The police uncovered that the corpse found is actually Tara's, the other boy from high school, implying Dawn killed her. Both women have dark secrets and strike a silent bargain. In the end, Natalie did embezzle money, but covered up by scheming from a charity 5K race she organizes. Dawn knows about the embezzlement but keeps quiet, and Natalie remains silent about Dawn's suspected murder of Tara. The mutual silence steers an unspoken pact.